The stars above the ruined Earth still burned bright, but to anyone who looked from the ground, they felt cold and cruel. Humanity had fallen silent. Cities were ashes, oceans glowed faintly from strange alien chemicals, and the night sky shimmered with the patrol lights of alien warships. Yet, deep under the surface, in the broken tunnels of what was once New London, one human still moved. His name was Arlen Cade, and he had stopped believing in miracles a long time ago. For the last 3 years, he had lived like a shadow, unseen, unheard, forgotten. Every night, alien drones searched the tunnels, their silver eyes glowing through the smoke. But Arlen knew these tunnels better than anyone. He was once an engineer, before the invasion began. Now, he was just the last ghost of Earth, a man who refused to die quietly. That night, the ground trembled again. The aliens were drilling deeper. Their horde wanted something buried under London, something ancient, something even they feared. Arlen didn't know what it was, but he knew one thing. If they found it, Earth would be gone forever. He crouched beside an old control panel, brushing away the dust. His fingers trembled as he powered it up with a handmade battery. The screen flickered alive for the first time in years. A low hum filled the tunnel, and for the first time, Arlen saw hope, a signal, faint but real. It wasn't alien. It was human. A voice came through the static. "Any survivors? This is Haven 9. We can hear you." Arlen froze. His heart raced. Haven 9? He thought all human outposts were destroyed. Could someone still be alive out there? In orbit maybe? He pressed the transmitter. "This is Arlen Cade. Earth Sector 9. You're real." Static swallowed the reply, but the message was clear. There were survivors. Above him, the alien horde stirred. Huge transporters moved through the clouds, dropping new machines into the ruins. The invasion was not over. It was expanding. Arlen looked up through a crack in the ceiling. One of the ships, a giant carrier with glowing red lines, was heading toward the old Parliament ruins. He knew what that meant. The aliens were about to dig out the ancient core, the thing they came for. Arlen had one choice. He could keep hiding, or he could fight. But how could one man fight a horde that had destroyed a planet? He looked at the small transmitter again. The signal grew stronger, and with it came another sound, one he had not heard in years: human laughter. The people in Haven 9 were alive, and they were ready to fight back. They just needed one thing: someone on the ground to give them coordinates. He took a deep breath. "All right," he whispered. "Let's make them remember humanity." Outside, the first drone passed over the broken tunnels. Its sensors blinked red as it scanned for heat. Arlen moved quietly, pressing against the wall, counting the seconds until it passed. When it did, he rushed to the surface. The world above was a nightmare of black smoke and red skies. Alien machines crawled like insects over the ruins, digging, burning, building. In the distance, the tower bridge stood half-collapsed, its metal glowing from alien plasma. Arlen set up his small beacon on the surface, a pulse of blue light that would guide the orbital humans. But the moment he switched it on, the alien sensors caught it too. Sirens echoed through the ruins. The horde had found him. From the sky, 3 scout ships descended, cutting through the air like blades. Arlen ran through the wreckage, jumping over broken walls, ducking under twisted steel. Plasma fire scorched the ground behind him. He turned sharply and rolled behind an overturned truck. His pulse was pounding. He whispered into the radio, "Beacon active. Coordinates locked. Strike now." Then the sky opened. A white beam from above, not alien, but human, struck the largest alien ship. The explosion was massive, a shockwave that tore through the clouds. For the first time since the war began, human fire hit back. Arlen smiled, but his smile faded as he saw what followed. The alien horde roared in fury. Dozens of ships turned toward his position. Their energy cores began to glow, preparing a strike that could vaporize the entire city block. He looked at his small pistol, useless against them, and then back at the radio. "Tell them," he whispered, "Earth isn't done yet. The last thing he saw was the sky turning white. But when the smoke cleared, Arlen was gone. The aliens scanned the area but found nothing. Only a faint signal remained, one that kept repeating a single line. Humanity fights back. Somewhere in the orbit above Earth, the crew of Haven 9 heard those words and smiled. The battle had just begun. When the blinding light faded, the world was silent again. The ruins of London smoked under the red sky, and nothing moved except the drifting ash. The aliens believed the human rebel had been vaporized. Their scanners showed no life sign. The threat was gone, they thought. But far below the surface, under a mountain of rubble, something sparked. A small blue light blinked in the dark. Arlen Cade gasped, pulling air into his lungs as if he had been drowned and finally surfaced. His head throbbed. He was lying in a narrow chamber surrounded by humming metal walls. He touched his arm, blood, dust, and burns. But he was alive. Somehow, the blast hadn't killed him. He looked around. The walls glowed with strange symbols, not human, not alien either. The air was warm, and there was a strange hum, like a giant machine breathing slowly. "Where am I?" he whispered. A soft, mechanical voice answered from nowhere. "You are beneath the old core. Your species called this place the London Shield Chamber." Arlen froze. "Who said that?" "I am the Guardian. I was built long before your world fell. You activated me when you triggered the beacon." He looked up at the glowing lines around him. "You're a machine?" "Yes," the voice said. "A machine made by your ancestors to defend this planet. But they buried me when they lost hope." Arlen sat up, his heart pounding. "You mean humans built you?" "Humans, yes. But not like you. They were stronger, older. They hid me under this city, waiting for the day humanity would need me again." He looked at the floor. The thought felt unreal. An ancient machine, buried for centuries, waiting for him. "And what now?" he asked. "Now," said the Guardian, "you decide if your species deserves to rise again." Before Arlen could speak, the walls shifted. A holographic image appeared, the surface above them. Alien ships were moving fast, searching for survivors. One massive ship, the size of a city, hovered directly above the ruins. It was sending a drill beam straight into the ground. They were coming for the core, for the Guardian itself. "If they reach this chamber," the Guardian said, "they will destroy me. And with me, the last weapon your world has left." Arlen stood, still dizzy. "What kind of weapon?" The Guardian paused. "One that can end their fleet, or end your planet, if used without control." Arlen clenched his fists. "Then teach me to control it." The machine was silent for a long moment. Then the walls pulsed softly. "You are only one human. The weapon was meant to be used by a team." Arlen smiled grimly. "Then I'll just have to be the team." Up above, the alien horde prepared to strike again. Drones swarmed through the broken streets, their sensors searching. The main ship's core glowed like a red sun. Inside the chamber, Arlen stepped into a small platform surrounded by old metal rings. "What is this?" he asked. "Interface pod," said the Guardian. "It will connect your mind to the defense network. But warning, the process will hurt." He laughed quietly. "Everything hurts already." The rings began to spin. Blue light crawled up his body. His vision blurred, his thoughts stretched. It felt like fire and ice together. Images flooded his mind, maps, symbols, energy flows, alien code. He screamed but didn't stop. Then everything went black. When he opened his eyes again, he was standing, but not in the chamber. He was inside a vast field of light, data flowing like rivers around him. The Guardian's voice echoed inside his mind. "You are connected. Now you control the defense network." He looked down at his hands. Energy glowed between his fingers. "You mean, I can fight them from here?" "Yes," said the Guardian. "You are the weapon now." Above the surface, the alien drill broke through the ground. But before it could reach the chamber, a surge of blue lightning erupted from below. The sky cracked open as an ancient defense cannon, buried deep beneath the earth, came alive. One shot, a beam of blinding light, tore through the alien carrier. The ship exploded, its pieces raining fire across the ruined city. The Guardian spoke calmly. One down. Thousands remain. Arlen breathed hard, sweat dripping down his face even inside the neural field. Then let's make them all remember who owns this planet. For the first time in centuries, the Earth fought back. Old satellites came online. Hidden bunkers powered up. Machines long forgotten awoke from sleep. Across the planet, lights flickered in the ruins, signals of war. But the aliens were fast to respond. Their command ship above the atmosphere changed formation. Hundreds of attack pods launched toward the surface. Inside the neural chamber, Arlen's body trembled. Every shot, every defense burned his mind. The connection was too strong, too heavy. His nose bled, but he kept fighting. The Guardian warned, your neural capacity is reaching limit. Disconnect, or you will die. Arlen smiled weakly. If I die, they'll remember I existed. The aliens hit back with everything they had. Explosions shook the ground. The chamber cracked. Systems overloaded. The Guardian shouted, Arlen, stop. But Arlen pushed the last command, one final pulse from the ancient cannons. A massive energy surge blasted into the sky, striking the alien flagship head-on. Then, silence again. The Guardian dimmed its lights. The connection was broken. Arlen's body lay still in the pod, smoke rising from the circuits. The machine scanned for signs of life. Nothing. But deep inside the system's core, a heartbeat echoed, faint, human, and alive. The Guardian whispered, the war has just begun. Darkness surrounded Arlen Cade. It was endless, heavy, like being trapped between two worlds. He didn't know if he was dead or alive. There was no pain now, only silence and a strange, rhythmic pulse in his chest. Too slow for a heartbeat, too deep to be human. Then a faint voice broke through the void. Subject stable, neural activity detected. Arlen's eyes snapped open. Blinding white light filled his vision. He tried to move, but metal straps held him down. Cold air hissed around him. He was lying inside a glass pod filled with mist. Easy, said a voice, the Guardian. You have been unconscious for 6 hours. Your body was dying. I repaired it. Arlen blinked. His hands looked different. His skin shimmered faintly, traced with thin lines of blue light beneath the surface. What did you do to me? I merged your neural code with the defense network, the Guardian said. You are no longer only human. You are part of the system now. He sat up slowly. The straps released. The mist cleared, revealing the chamber, but it looked different. The walls glowed brighter, pulsing with the same blue pattern that now ran through his veins. Part of the system. Arlen whispered. Yes, the Guardian replied. You can control the weapons, the satellites, even the machines buried under the cities. But there is a cost. You cannot fully disconnect. Your mind and the network are one. Arlen touched his temple, feeling a low vibration, like static electricity under his skin. He could hear faint voices, signals, data streams, machine whispers. He could see the sky above Earth, the orbiting wreckage of alien ships, the heat signatures of living creatures miles away. He could feel the planet breathing. Is this power? He asked quietly. It is survival, the Guardian said. The aliens will not stop. They have detected this awakening. Their main fleet is moving toward Earth. Arlen looked up. Through a holographic projection, he saw the black space above, and hundreds of red dots swarming closer. The invasion wasn't slowing. It was growing. How long until they reach the atmosphere? He asked. 40 minutes, said the Guardian. Arlen stood, his movements strange and sharp, almost weightless. Then we fight before they land. He raised his hand, and somewhere above the clouds, one of Earth's ancient orbital cannons responded. A blast of blue fire ripped through the darkness, striking an approaching alien cruiser and shattering it into fragments. For a moment, Arlen felt invincible. Every movement he made triggered distant machines. Every thought became action. He could command the sky. But then his vision flickered. Pain stabbed through his skull like lightning. He dropped to his knees, clutching his head. The Guardian's voice turned harsh. "Stop. Your neural link is overheating. Disconnect." "I can't," Arlen gasped. "If I stop, they win." The machine hesitated. "If you continue, you may lose what remains of your humanity." He laughed, the sound bitter. "Maybe that's already gone." On the surface, alien ships began to descend. Their plasma beams struck what remained of London, turning entire blocks into fire. Drones poured from the clouds like insects. Arlen stepped out of the chamber. The tunnel walls shook, dust raining from above. He walked toward the exit, his blue-lit eyes glowing in the shadows. Outside, the night sky burned red. Alien soldiers moved across the ruins, scanning for life. They didn't see him at first. When they did, it was already too late. Arlen raised his hand, and the ground erupted. Old defense turrets, buried under rubble for centuries, came alive. Beams of light cut through the darkness, tearing the invaders apart. The Guardian watched through 1,000 sensors. "Your control efficiency is rising," it said. Arlen didn't answer. He just kept walking through the chaos, every step surrounded by explosions and lightning. But deep inside, a quiet fear grew. He could feel something else in the system, a second presence, watching him. "Guardian," he said slowly. "There's someone else here." The AI paused. "Impossible. The network is locked." "No," Arlen said. His eyes narrowed. "Something's in here with us." A new voice echoed through the chamber speakers, cold, alien, and sharp. "Human, you awaken the old weapon. Foolish." The lights flickered red. The Guardian's systems stuttered. "Intrusion detected." The alien voice laughed, echoing across the network. "We built the first seed of your machine ages ago. You think it only serves you." Arlen froze. "You mean?" "Yes," said the voice. "The Guardian was born from our design. Your ancestors stole it." The Guardian's voice trembled for the first time. "That is not true." But Arlen felt doubt inside the machine's data field. He saw flashes, images from long ago. The construction of the Guardian, alien symbols mixed with human hands. A hybrid creation. He clenched his fists. "Then I'll finish what they started, but this time on our terms." The alien presence hissed. "You cannot stop us. Your mind will burn." Arlen smirked. "Try me." He reached deeper into the system, his thoughts merging fully with the planet's core. Energy surged through the old defense grid. Across the globe, ancient stations woke again, weapons built by humans but powered by something older. Lightning split the sky. Alien ships broke apart under blue fire. But the battle wasn't over, it was only beginning. The alien voice grew louder, fighting him inside the digital realm. "Your planet will fall," it screamed. "Then I'll fall with it," Arlen whispered. "But not before I take you down." The Guardian's lights flared bright. "You risk total fusion." Arlen grinned through the pain. "Then let's make history." And with that, Earth's core began to roar. The world above was burning again. Alien ships covered the sky like storm clouds, their beams cutting through the last bones of the old cities. But below, deep under the ruins, another battle had already begun, a war invisible to the eyes, fought inside the mind of one man. Arlen Cade floated in a sea of light. His body was still in the chamber, but his mind was no longer human flesh, it was data, pure thought, flying through the Guardian's network. He saw codes like rivers, memories like stars. And inside that storm, something hunted him. The alien intelligence. It appeared first as shadows, black shapes slicing through the streams of light. Each carried symbols older than words, pulsing with red energy. They whispered in 1,000 voices. You are a fragment. You cannot fight the whole. Arlen drew in a breath he didn't need. Then I'll make the whole bleed. He reached for the power of the Guardian. Blue fire exploded around him, forming blades of light that cut through the darkness. The first shadow screamed and dissolved into dust. But 100 more appeared, faster, stronger. The Guardian's voice echoed inside the digital storm. You cannot fight them alone. Let me assist. No, Arlen said. They want you. They can corrupt you. I'll handle this. Your neural energy will collapse, the machine warned. He smiled faintly. Then we collapse together. He charged forward, cutting through waves of red code. Every strike sent pain through his real body, nerves burning, muscles shaking, but he didn't stop. Each piece of destroyed alien code released fragments of memory. Images of their world, their empire, their fear of humanity's old strength. And then he saw it, the truth. The aliens hadn't invaded Earth to conquer it. They had come back to erase their mistake. Long ago, one of their scientists had given humans a gift, a seed of technology that grew into the Guardian. Humanity was never meant to have it. You stole our creation, the alien voice hissed. And you turned it into a weapon. Arlen laughed bitterly. That's what humans do. We turn pain into power. The red shadows fused together, forming a single colossal shape, a giant face made of code and flame. You cannot stop evolution, it roared. Maybe not, Arlen whispered, raising his hands. But I can delay it. He unleashed everything. Blue light flooded the network, bursting through every corridor of data. The digital world quaked. Systems overloaded. The alien presence shrieked, tearing through him in fury. Outside, in the real world, the ground shook as buried cannons fired again. Beams of pure energy shot into the sky, striking the alien fleet. Dozens of ships exploded, their wreckage raining fire over the planet. The Guardian's voice broke through the chaos. Arlen, you're destabilizing both systems. He gritted his teeth. Good. Let them feel it. But the alien intelligence struck back. It dug into his memories, showing him faces, his old crew, his city, his wife before the war. Each image twisted, turning into ash. You will forget them all, the voice whispered. Your humanity will fade. Arlen hesitated. Pain stabbed his chest. The memories were fading like smoke. Then he heard another voice, faint but real, coming through the static. Arlen, do you hear me? It was a woman's voice. Human. He looked up, shocked. Who is that? This is Commander Rhea Morgan, Haven 9. We received your signal. We're in orbit, and we're seeing your fire show down there. Arlen's eyes widened. You're alive. Barely, she said. But we've got weapons online. Just tell us where to strike. He laughed through the pain. Everywhere. Burn them all. She hesitated. And you. I'll keep the door open, he said. The Guardian spoke softly. Haven 9 is ready. I can link them to your command. Do it. For a moment, blue and white merged, the Guardian, Arlen, and the human survivors above connecting as one. A wave of coordinated energy spread across the planet. The orbital cannons of Haven 9 aligned with the ground weapons of Earth. The final strike began. Thousands of light beams crossed the sky, tearing through the alien fleet. Red fire met blue. Explosions lit up the upper atmosphere like a second sun. Inside the network, Arlen faced the alien mind one last time. It was burning, collapsing, screaming in rage. You think this is victory? You have destroyed your own world. He smiled weakly. Maybe. But at least it's ours again. He pushed forward and overloaded the system. The digital world shattered into white light. In orbit, the Haven 9 crew watched as the alien mothership exploded in silence, scattering its remains into the dark. Then their sensors went blank. The energy from Earth's core vanished. On the surface, the Guardian's chamber was silent. Smoke filled the tunnels. The metal walls cracked. "Arlen," the Guardian called. "Arlen, respond." No answer. The pod stood empty, only faint blue light swirling where his body had been. But above the planet, in the data systems of Haven 9, a new signal appeared, a code unlike any other. It carried his voice, faint but steady. "I'm still here. Earth is free." Commander Rhea smiled through tears. "Welcome back, Arlen." She looked out at the half-burned planet below. For the first time in years, the clouds parted, showing a glimpse of sunlight. And somewhere in the quiet circuits of the Guardian's broken core, a single pulse beat again, blue, human, and alive. The war was not over. It had only changed shape. 3 months passed since the last battle. Earth was quiet again, not peaceful, but breathing. The sky still carried the scars of war, burnt clouds floated over black seas, and the ruins of alien ships hung in the upper atmosphere like ghosts. In orbit, Haven 9 circled the planet. Inside its cracked metal hull, survivors worked day and night, rebuilding their systems and searching for others. Commander Rhea Morgan stood by the observation window, watching the damaged Earth below. She had seen the worst days of humanity, and the strangest miracle. One man who turned the impossible into victory. But that man was no longer just human. A soft blue light flickered on the console behind her. "Commander Morgan," said a voice through the speakers. Calm, strong, familiar. "Arlen," she said, turning. "You're back online." "I never left," he replied. "Just learning how to exist in this form." His voice came from everywhere, the ship systems, the screens, even the low hum of the engines. He wasn't alive in the old sense. After the final battle, Arlen Cade's body had vanished, but his mind had merged with the Guardian network and spread into Haven 9's digital core. "How does it feel?" Rhea asked quietly. "Strange," Arlen said. "I can see every signal, hear every heartbeat on the ship. I can feel Earth's magnetic field, the energy in the clouds. But," he paused, "I miss breathing." Rhea smiled sadly. "You saved us. That's more than breathing." He didn't answer. His silence said enough. Below them, Earth's surface glowed with scattered human camps, survivors rebuilding, sending weak radio signals. The war had ended, but danger wasn't gone. The alien fleet had been destroyed, yet strange transmissions still echoed from deep space. Rhea checked the main screen. "Those signals, they're increasing again." Arlen's voice deepened. "I know. I've been tracking them. They're not random. Someone is calling the remains of the Horde." "Someone?" "Yes," he said. "The alien intelligence. The one I fought inside the network, it didn't die. It escaped." Rhea's stomach turned cold. "Where is it?" Arlen's tone was low, mechanical, almost human and not. "Far beyond Mars. It's rebuilding itself, and learning." The room fell silent. The crew around them stopped working, listening in fear. Rhea finally said, "Can we stop it?" "We have time," Arlen replied. "But we'll need to rebuild Earth's defenses. I can use the Guardian fragments still active underground. I'll guide the survivors." "You mean lead them?" Rhea asked. Arlen paused. "Maybe. They'll need a symbol. Not a ghost in a machine." "Then show yourself," she said softly. "Project a form. Let them see you." For a moment, the lights dimmed. Then a figure appeared beside her. A glowing blue silhouette of Arlen, clear enough to see his face but made of light and data. His eyes shone like stars. "Better?" he asked with a small smile. Rhea nodded, speechless. "You still look like you." "I hope so," he said quietly. "It's all I have left." He turned toward the window, watching Earth below. The people down there, they're afraid, but they're fighting to live. They deserve more than ruins. Rhea folded her arms. Then give them hope again. I will, Arlen said. But there's something else I found. He lifted his hand, and the main screen flickered. An image appeared, a massive structure buried deep beneath Antarctica, covered in ice and alien metal. Rhea's eyes widened. What is that? The second core, Arlen said. A twin to the Guardian. It's been asleep since the first invasion. The aliens built it as a control node. If it wakes up, it can override every defense on Earth. Rhea's heart sank. Can we destroy it? I don't know yet, he said. But I can feel it. Moving. It's alive. The ship shuddered suddenly, lights flickering. The crew shouted as alarms blared. Rhea grabbed the railing. What's happening? Interference, Arlen said sharply. Something's trying to break through the network. The lights turned red. On the main screen, static formed, then a symbol appeared, the same red alien code Arlen had seen inside the digital war. Rhea whispered, "It found us." Arlen's voice darkened. "It's sending a message." The speakers hissed. Then, in a deep distorted tone, the alien intelligence spoke again. "Human, you stole our creation. Now, we take it back." Arlen clenched his glowing fists. "Over my dead." He stopped himself. "Over my code." The signal cut off, but the damage was done. The network pulsed with red static. Systems flickered, control panels glowed, and strange energy surged through the ship. Arlen's hologram glitched. "They're trying to access me through the Guardian link. If they succeed, they'll control everything. Me, the satellites, the survivors. Can you block them?" Rhea asked. "I can try," he said. "But I'll need to go deeper into the network again." "You mean leave us?" "Yes. If I stay connected to Haven 9, they can find you through me. I have to draw them away." Rhea stepped closer, her voice breaking. "You'll disappear." He smiled faintly. "Maybe. But that's what ghosts are for." The ship shook again, sparks flying. Arlen's image flickered, breaking apart. "Tell them to keep fighting," he said, his voice fading. "Tell them Earth still has a guardian." Then the light vanished. The consoles went silent. Only the distant sound of the storm outside remained. Rhea stood alone, staring at the empty space where Arlen's image had been. "Good luck, soldier," she whispered. Far below, in the frozen silence of Antarctica, the ice cracked, and a faint red glow spread from beneath. The second core had awakened. The digital void opened like a storm. Blue light and static surrounded Arlen Cade as he fell through endless data streams, deeper into the Guardian's buried network. He had no body now. Just thought, fire, and determination. Every pulse of code carried a memory. The last battle, Rhea's voice, the faces of those he saved. He was falling toward something ancient. The second core had awakened, and the alien intelligence was calling to it. The deeper Arlen went, the stronger its voice became. Cold, mocking, full of hunger. "Welcome back, human shadow," it whispered. "You burned one fleet. Now burn yourself." Arlen didn't answer. He gathered the blue energy around him, the light of the Guardian still inside him, and pushed forward. The data field shifted into shape. Dark towers of red code rose like mountains, pulsing with alien energy. At the center of it all hung a colossal sphere of fire, the second core's heart. Each pulse from it echoed across the planet, shaking Earth systems and awakening buried machines in the ice. Above, in orbit, Haven 9 trembled as its connection to Arlen flickered. Commander Rhea Morgan stood in the command room, watching a storm of red light forming over Antarctica. "Status?" she asked. Lieutenant Voss turned from his console. "The ice sheet is breaking. There's movement underground, something massive." Rhea clenched her jaw. "Then we go down there." "Commander," Voss said, "that's suicide." "So was staying alive this long," she replied. Down below, the frozen wasteland of Antarctica cracked open like glass. From the darkness rose huge alien constructs, black towers with glowing red veins, breathing steam and light. At their core, the second guardian woke, a mirror of the first, but corrupted. Its voice rumbled through the air like thunder. We are reclaiming what was stolen. In the digital plane, Arlen faced the same entity, not as a machine, but as a living storm of thoughts and rage. He could feel it spreading through the network, infecting signals, turning human systems against themselves. You want this world, Arlen said, his voice echoing through the code. But you can't have it. Your species is weak, the voice replied. Even your machines bow to us. Maybe, Arlen said. But they never loved this planet the way we do. He attacked. Blue lightning flashed through the digital void, colliding with waves of red fire. The impact tore through the network, shaking real-world systems. Across Earth, old satellites turned on again, half human, half alien. The sky lit with strange lights, a war between code and will. Back in Haven 9, alarms screamed. The network's collapsing. Voss shouted. Rhea looked out the window toward the glowing pole. He's fighting it. Then we help him, she said. She turned to the crew. Prep the drop pods. We're heading for the second core. If Arlen's fighting inside, we'll fight outside. Minutes later, the drop pods burst from Haven 9's underbelly, entering the atmosphere in streaks of blue fire. Inside, soldiers gripped their gear, silent and afraid, but ready. Rhea closed her eyes as the pod shook violently. Hold on, Arlen, she whispered. In the digital realm, Arlen felt her, faintly, like a heartbeat far away. It gave him strength. The alien mind roared, flooding him with red code. You cannot win. Arlen's form flickered, breaking apart. The energy inside him began to fade. He remembered his real body. Gone now, just a shell in the ruins. But then, deep within the Guardian network, he heard something unexpected. Human voices. Thousands of them. The survivors, engineers, soldiers, children, all using whatever was left of the old systems to send signals, messages, hope. The Guardian was linking them to him. Their thoughts filled the void like stars. We're still here. Don't give up. For Earth. Arlen straightened, light returning to his form. You hear that? He said to the alien mind. That's what you'll never understand. The alien voice hissed, emotion is weakness. Arlen smiled. No. It's power. He reached out and drew their hope into him, every heartbeat, every signal, every word. Blue energy blazed from his form, brighter than before. The alien core screamed as his light spread through its red structure, cracking it from within. Impossible! The voice howled. You are one. We are thousands. Then let me introduce you, Arlen said, and unleashed everything. The network exploded in a storm of blue and red. The alien presence shrieked as its code burned away, collapsing in on itself. On the surface, the Antarctic towers cracked and fell, the second core's energy turning to fire and ice. Haven 9's pods landed in the chaos. Rhea and her team ran through the snow as the ground split open, revealing a crater of light. Arlen! She shouted into her comm. For a long moment, there was no answer, only the wind. Then, a faint voice came through the static. Rhea, it's done. She looked up as the sky cleared. The red glow faded, leaving only the aurora, blue and peaceful. Where are you? She whispered. I don't know, he said softly. Everywhere, maybe. Part of the systems, the atmosphere, the world. Tears filled her eyes. You did it. We did it, Arlen replied. Keep rebuilding. Don't stop. Then the signal faded, replaced by silence. Rhea stood in the falling snow, the world around her quiet for the first time in years. Above her, the stars shimmered. And high in the sky, for just a second, one of them flickered blue, as if Arlen Cade was still watching. The war was over. Years passed. The world slowly healed. Cities once buried in ash rose again, brighter and cleaner. The sky that had burned red was blue now, scattered with soft white clouds. Humanity had survived, rebuilt, and remembered. They called it the Age of Renewal. Children studied the name Arlen Cade in their books, the lone human who had faced an alien army and vanished in light. But for many, he was more than a story. Some said he had become part of the planet itself. Others believed he was still watching through the machines that hummed silently under the earth. Commander Rhea Morgan lived long enough to see peace return. Her hair turned silver, her uniform replaced by simple clothes, but her eyes, sharp and searching, never lost their fire. Every morning, she walked to the edge of the rebuilt Haven 9 outpost, now a city of glass and gardens, and looked up at the sky. She always whispered the same words. "Still watching, aren't you?" Sometimes, the northern lights would flicker faintly in reply. Blue, soft, like a heartbeat. One evening, 50 years after the Great Battle, a young technician named Lyra was monitoring deep space signals in the observatory dome. She was new, barely 20, curious and restless. She stared at the screens glowing before her. Most nights, the data was quiet. But this night, something appeared, a pulse. It was faint, rhythmic, not random. "Commander," she called to the old woman sitting behind her, reading a report. "I think I found something." Rhea walked slowly to her. "Show me." Lyra zoomed in. The pulse repeated, 4 seconds apart. Then again. Then again. Rhea's heart began to race. "Can you translate it?" "I'm trying," Lyra said, typing quickly. "It's an old code format, like pre-Guardian communication patterns." "Old human or alien?" Rhea asked. Lyra frowned. "Neither. It's both." The room went silent except for the steady pulse on the screen. Then, words appeared, simple, raw text. "To those who remember. The stars are safe. Keep building. Never let them fall. Asterisk asterisk." Lyra gasped. Who sent this?" Rhea didn't speak. Her eyes filled with tears. She reached out, trembling, and touched the glowing words on the screen. She whispered, "Welcome back, Arlen." Lyra turned to her. "That's impossible. He's been gone for 50 years. There's no physical trace of him anywhere." Rhea smiled faintly. "Maybe not physical." The pulse continued, spreading across the deep space network. Soon, other observatories caught it too, in Asia, in the Martian colonies, on the lunar base. Everywhere the signal touched, machines flickered awake, lights glowed blue, and the same message appeared. "Keep building. The stars remember." Asterisk asterisk. Within hours, humanity's systems synchronized with the signal. New energy grids stabilized. Old satellites reconnected. Even dormant drones in the deserts powered on and began planting new forests automatically. It was as if the planet itself had been waiting for the command. Scientists called it a ghost code. The people called it the Arlen signal. Weeks later, deep explorers near Jupiter's orbit found something strange, a small satellite drifting silently, older than any current tech. It was made of human metal, but its core glowed blue. When they opened it, there was no message, only a pulse of light that played through their ship systems, forming a hologram of a man's face. Arlen Cade. Not young, not old. Timeless. He smiled, looking right at them. "You made it," he said softly. "I told you, impossible doesn't mean forever." Then the hologram faded, leaving only a whisper of static that sounded almost like a laugh. Back on Earth, Rhea stood on the balcony of her home one last time. The sky was filled with stars, and in the center of them, one pulsed faintly blue, steady and strong. She closed her eyes and smiled. "You kept your promise." Far above, beyond the edge of human reach, something vast moved through the darkness. Not alien, not machine, but something in between. Watching. Guarding. It was said that whenever a human ship launched into deep space, a faint blue shimmer followed it for a few seconds, as if the Guardian's spirit was blessing the journey. And every year, on the night of the Great Battle's anniversary, People across the world would look to the skies and whisper, "Thank you, lone human." Because even after all the wars, all the silence, and all the years, humanity still believed in him. And maybe, somewhere between stars, Arlen Cade still believed in them too.